Hi friends, welcome to the Crafty Carrot Collective November program. Today I'm bringing you the Step It Up theme tutorial. Now it's been a little while since I've done a live, so I'm just trying to work out if my phone is actually working or not. I keep getting a blank screen, so hopefully you're seeing this and this video is actually working. If you are, pop in and say hello because it would be lovely to hear from you. Alright, so of course this month we are working on our Watercolor Christmas projects, and we're featuring the Watercolor Christmas card kit here. This card kit can allow you to make up to 20 cards, and it's got some really beautiful designs. So when I found out that I had the Step It Up theme, I was really impressed because it meant my work was cut in half for me, because these are my basic designs already here in the catalogue for you to see. Kits are really fun because there are times you want to get creative and you want to put some paper in your hands, you want to do a bit of fussy cutting, you want to put some projects together, but you're not feeling creative, or you don't have the mojo that you need to do a design. So the kits have these fabulous options and all the instructions you need to put those 4 projects together already in there. But what I'm going to show you today is a little bit of a Step It Up themed card, to show you how, if you do feel creative and you want to try something a little bit different, to show you how to use elements in your kit to create a different kind of design. Now last week you would have seen that we were in Canada with the lovely Krista and Susan and Marissa Gunn, and we were at Krista's cabin, and Susan made this gorgeous card here. So if you missed that in the first week, do head in and give that a go, because it was a lot of fun to do, and I'm so glad that I was able to be behind the scenes to do that. So I was working on my projects while I was in Canada at the Nice People Stamp Craft Retreat, and I used a lot of Alison's fun products to put pieces of the kits together in a way that was just a little bit different. So I started with this card. I don't know if my lighting is very good. We're really overcast here today, so I might just move my lamp across. It might give you a bit better light. I don't know if that helps. There we go. So I've got the silver ribbon in there. I've got a label punch. I've fussy cut my word joy, and I've added a silver leaves in there, and just done a little bit of background stamping. For my second project, I went with the red card base. That light's a bit bright there. Move that base. It might be a little bit better. There we go. So I've gone with the red card base, and I've done some subtle stamping on the background there of the leaves that match in here, and just layered things up. I've added a little doily. There's some twine. I've stamped some music notes and cut them out to pop along the top there. So that was fun to do. For the third card, I've got this embossed sentiment, just a few of those little words pulled out there, and fussy cut some little trees to pop on the top. But the card that I'm going to share with you today will be a variation of this one, which was the last one that I made, and I really loved. I loved the layering, and I loved the little words here pulled out with the bigger sentiments in the background, and I'm a sucker for this kind of watercolored look, so that was really nice to see on the card bases. They're already pre-done and ready to go. So I'm going to make that project for you. I'm going to turn the camera down so that you can see it. If you can see that desk okay. Just wiggle you down a little bit more. Alright, so the first thing that I've got is the watercolor washed card base. Just going to fold that ready to decorate. And I've stamped on some of the Oh Joy sentiment from the Watercolor Wishes stamp set. And I've used Emerald Envy. Now my Emerald Envy is really wet and vibrant. And I've got a bit of paper here just to stamp off. So I'm going to stamp that off 1 time, 2 times, and then I'm going to pop it on my card base so that it's just nice and light and sitting in that watercolor wash background. I'm going to repeat that a few times. So stamping off, pop that there, stamping off, and maybe about there. So I've just got those subtle oh joys sitting in the background of my watercolor wash. Next, the kit comes with all these really fun pre-cut banner pieces that you can push out of the paper and they're ready to go. I've decorated mine in my initial sample, if I can find it here. So in my initial sample, I borrowed a little bit of washi tape, a little bit of the black and white striped washi tape from Shannon Lane, but I don't have that one here at home. So I wanted to show you a substitute that I came up with this morning. And I've just cut a little strip of scrap black card. And I'm going to stick that on using, I've got a bit of fine tip glue pen here. So I'm just applying a little bit of that fine tip glue pen. And I'm going to stick that to the banner there along the bottom. And I really did like that the contrast with the white stripes. So I used a white gel pen and randomly went along and just added that striped detail. So you can see it's just really random, just adding the little stripes in with the white gel pen, no particular spacing. And here's one that I made a little bit earlier, so it's all done. So it's stuck on there and it's just, yeah, really random and rough. But when it all comes together, it's going to look nice. So don't stress too much about that detail. Put that lid on the fine tip glue pen. If I don't do that straight away, it's really hot here in Australia and that is going to give me trouble later on. So we're going to stick this piece flat on to the card base. Just pulling out my scale. I want it to sit probably about just about there along the bottom, maybe just a bit higher. So I've positioned that onto the card base there. You can see I've got quite a bit overhanging, but now that I've got it in the right place, I can just take my scissors and trim off that excess there. And now for a little bit of layering. I've got a half a gold metallic foil doily. And these are shapes that come inside your kit. And they're just a fun little shape. They've got the corners that have come out, kind of a ticket shape. And I'm going to stamp that with the, well, I think of it as an internal sentiment type stamp. And I'm using just black memento for that. So that's stamped there on the little ticket shape. I wanted to get that piece done first because it will help me work out where I want to position this gold doily. So I'm sitting this one up on dimensionals. The four there, one in the middle. Take those backs off. I'm going to position that just so that it's popping a little bit over that white red banner that we've put on. So I've just positioned that up on dimensionals there. So now all we have to do is add our other layered embellishments. So now that I know where my panel is, it will help me position this gold doily. So I've added a little adhesive to the back and I'm going to wiggle that under. Because it's sitting up on dimensionals, it gives me that chance to slide it in and hide it in place. So I want that about there. So I've got my gold doily in place. Now I'm just going to add some little detail here. Now while I was in Canada, at the retreat, Alison had so many fun tools to play with, and one of them was this particular stamp set here. I don't have that one at home, but I do have my trusty Flourishing Phrases thinlits, which I use all the time. I love this for layering and adding that leaf detail. So I've used, this is a piece of one of the card bases that are in the kit. So the front has that stripe detail, the back has the full emerald, and I have cut a leaf from that to position onto the card front. So just need to think about how I want that on so that it doesn't interfere too much with my words. And I might even trim that leaf there. Oh, I might trim that one too. It's a little bit bigger than the stamped one, so I want to be able to make sure that all my words can be shown. And I'm not worried too much about the mess that I've got there because I'm going to layer over a few other elements that will help clean that up. So, about those other elements, the other thing that I had access to when I was in Canada that I don't have here is the perfect sized circle punch to sit in behind that tree and really help it pop. But what I did was got a piece of black cardstock and I've got a 5-cent coin and I traced around the coin to give me just the right size. So you can see that I've got the line to give me my guide, and I fussy cut that circle out. Now of course you're not going to get a beautiful smooth circle shape the way you would if you used a punch, but for this one project I don't think anyone's going to notice that it's a little bit rough around the edges. Hi Paula, it's nice to see you. I'm glad you could pop in. Alright, so I'm going to use that and pop it in place here. And I think that all of that went flat, so I might even pop the tape on the back here so that I can put it in the right place for the leaves. And I think that'll be really nice just there. Now what I could do, I've got these extra leaves that I just cut off before, so I can fit them around and have them protrude from the other areas if I want to. That might be cute there. While I've got it going, it's easier when you've got your project in front of you, if you can hold it up and just see where it's going to sit. And then I think another one popping out here. Would work nice. I'm just positioning it so you can still see those words. I'll angle it a bit more. There we go. So you get the idea. You can kind of move the leaves around to where you want them. And in fact, I might want to move that circle in so that it goes into that gap more. Alright, so I've got my little embellishment now that you can see he's been hacked away at, but it's going to look really pretty when it all comes together. So that is going to go on with dimensionals, but I'm going to be careful when I put my dimensionals on because this panel here was on dimensionals. I want the dimensional to sit off to the side to help the whole thing even out. So I'm going to grab I might use a half dimensional. I've just cut my dimensionals in half, but if you've got the cute new mini dimensionals, you might not have to worry about that. So I know that that's going to go about there. And I might use a little bit of, no, we'll just go with this one to help it sit flat. Go the other way. Don't know if you can tell, but I don't use snail a lot, but I want to get better at doing it. I think particularly for videos like this where I'm coming live, it's nice to make sure that things move nice and quickly. There we go. I'm just giving them a little bit of texture by lifting them up so they don't sit too flat. So that's our little leaves in the background there. I've got my circle ready for my Christmas tree embellishment. Before I put the, of course this is a step it up themed tutorial, so before I put my Christmas tree flat on there, I've got a few more layers to add in. Now the kit comes with these sequin, string of sequins, and I'm just going to cut a little bit of that. Oh, here's one that I cut earlier. So I've just cut a little bit of that off. So I want that to stick in there. And I've got a bow. Where is my twine? Here we go. I can't resist a little bit of linen thread. So I've tied some here in a bow, and that's going to sit on top of that gold sequin detail. Let's see if I can move the camera down just a little bit more, if that might make it easier. Let's see. So I've got that little bit of detail in there. Now if I was doing this without the camera and if I had it handy, I'd probably use a little bit of tear and tape adhesive to hold both of those down, or a little bit of glue. But the last detail now is just the Christmas tree. So part of the kit, you've got these pre-printed elements ready to go. Now you could easily have put that whole embellishment onto a card as they've shown you in their samples, and it looks great. But I like to fussy cut and add little detail to my project. So I fussy cut out that little tree, and I'm going to stick that over the top here. So this is the tricky bit, because you want to go over the little embellishments that you've already got. So I'm going to add a little bit of dimensional top and bottom of that bow and use that to bring all the pieces together. So I'll just trim this one. This is where it would be handy if I had some of those little mini dimensionals. Is anyone using those? Would you love them? All right. So if I can get little dimensionals up on here, hopefully it'll just be a nice little bit along the bottom. It'll just give me a little room through the center. And if I quite cut that top one small enough, I'll just give it a little trim. Just need enough room so that my bow will sit through the middle. So that's the Christmas tree there with the, I've just popped the dimensional on so that I've got that break through the center, and I'm going to make sure that that break through the center is going to sit over that bow, because that's built up already. We don't want to be adding anything on top of that. And there we have it, our built up, layered, step it up card. So I hope that you enjoyed that project and that you'll have a chance to do a few of your own step it up projects at home. If you've picked up the kit, you'll have enough card bases to do 20 cards. I don't quite have enough anymore. I've done really well to run through my stash, and I've been loving what I've been making with these elements so far. So I hope that you enjoy playing along. And if you don't have the kit, I still want to see what you come up with. Case the cards, case the ideas, layer up some embellishments and show me what you've got from your own stash. All right, friends, I'll lift you back up. All right, thank you so much for joining me. I haven't done a live in a little while, so I hope that all went well and that you were able to see. Of course, we've had 30-degree heat all week and really bright sunshine. And of course, today when I get a quiet moment to do this video for you, it's all overcast. It's still hot though. Big difference from the minus 20 degrees that we were in just last week, but I don't mind. All right, friends, thank you so much for joining me and I look forward to seeing you again soon. Bye.